Good morning, mathematicians. Here I have modeled for you my example of sequences. I'm going to show you both a way to do it arithmetically and geometrically. So right now this is let's just pretend the sequence that I have generated here. I told you guys to be creative. This is not creative. I'm leaving you guys to have the freedom to be more creative. So this is representing my first term, my second term, my third term, and my fourth term here. I told you guys I would prefer if you do not start with your first term. So if this was my finished product here, the best way to go about this would be okay, I'm going to erase this now and maybe only upload 2, 3, and 4. Or maybe I'm going to erase the first two and then have 3, 4, and 5 uploaded. So I would start by generating your first term. That way you can know the proper sequence. But then your final product, erase that from the image. And you'll see what I mean in the long run. Because our whole goal is to come up with an equation or the formula for these terms here. So I'm going to start by showing you the arithmetic way of this sequence. So what might be helpful is when you have whatever your representation is going to be, whether it's objects, I wish I had more alpacas because I would represent them that way, but or a picture, whatever the case is, I would start by writing underneath it for yourself, not your finished product, how many terms you have. So here I'm okay, I have 3 shapes, so I'm going to write 3 here. Then I have the 3 original, and I have 3 more, so now I have 6 terms essentially. Here I have those 6 terms. Oh, and then I have 3 more added. So then I'm going to have 9. Here I have 12, so on and so forth. So that helps give you an idea of what your sequence really is. Now I said, in this case, I'm doing an arithmetic sequence. So I know that my formula here needs to follow a of n equals a1 plus n minus 1 times d. And now that I have this information here, it makes it very easy for me to complete this formula here. So I'm going to have a of n. Okay, I know my first term here is going to be 3 plus n minus 1 is going to stay there. And my common difference here is, well, how did I get from 3 to 6, then from 6 to 9, then from 9 to 12? And we know that I added 3 every time. So that means that my common difference here is going to be 3. I actually want you to take this a step further and combine terms here. So this is really being distributed there. So I can rewrite that as a of n equals 3 plus 3n minus 3. That's what happened when I distribute. And then when I combine terms, my final sequence here is just 3n. That's how it's being represented. So that's a perfect example for arithmetic sequence. When you upload your image to me or your objects, whatever the case is, I don't want you to show any of this work. So I would erase all of this if this was my final product. All of this hard work here. And I would just include my objects, and then on my comment, I would write what my sequence is, or in a separate upload if you want to, what my sequence is. And again, I told you guys not to upload the first 4 terms, so I could essentially just erase that and give you the sequence, and that would not change anything about my equation there. So if I was a student and I was okay, how can I figure out what my sequence here is going to be? Well, again, I have 6 terms here, I have 9 terms, and I have 12 terms here. And using that same formula, now, okay, yeah, I don't know what my first term is, but there's so much information here to help you. I can still figure out by subtracting the terms prior, my common difference is 3. Yeah, I don't know what a of 1 is, but I also know, for example, my third term is giving me 9. So since that's the case, I could plug in 3 for n, and I could plug 9 in for that value of your sequence, and then that allows me to solve for a1. You could have done the same exact pattern by plugging in 4 for n and 12 for a of n, and then solve for it. So you do not need to include the first term, and I would prefer if you did not. I hope this helps you guys. Enjoy. Reach out to me with any questions or concerns. You have the freedom to pick if it's going to be geometric or arithmetic. You guys decide. I don't care which. You guys rock. Have fun.